back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Rachel. Today I want to talk about how to feel crystal energy. And I want to talk about this because in my experience, I feel like people don't know that they are feeling crystal energy. They think that it's supposed to look a certain way, that it's supposed to feel a certain way, and they're expecting like a zap from a crystal, and that's not always what it feels like. Gotta get comfortable here. So I just want to talk about how simple it is sometimes that you really are feeling something. It's just not what you think you're supposed to be feeling. For instance, sometimes you pick up a crystal. This is a beautiful piece of ocean jasper that I have. And this is the first crystal that I experimented with, like just tapping into the energy and not like thinking anything about it. So this is what I did. I just picked it up and I held it for a few minutes. And it's like I had to clear every expectation out of my body and just get very, very still and quiet. And after I got into that still and quiet place, I started to feel a little bit grounded. And this is what it feels like to me to be slightly grounded by a crystal. I start feeling heavier on the bottom half of my body. Heavier, but not like pushed down upon, almost like I'm wearing concrete boots or something. Not in a way that I'm trapped, but in a way where I'm stable and steady and nothing's gonna move me. And then it's like it's almost travels up my body then into my shoulders. I feel my shoulders relax. To me, grounding crystals just make you feel like that. Like it just pulls you down and grounds you. It makes you just, I don't know how else to explain it except for just you feel your shoulders relax a little bit. That's how I feel when I pick up a crystal that's going to ground me. So when I was working with this ocean jasper and I picked it up and I felt slightly grounded, that's the first thing that I felt. And so that made me think earth. It's an earth element. Continuing on, I'm sitting there, I'm feeling grounded, and I'm just waiting to see what else comes in. And I felt like my body wanted to start swaying like this, like a slow, gentle sway. And I don't know if when I was sitting there that night, if my body actually started swaying or if it was more of an energetic sway. If you've ever felt energy, like someone sends you energy and it actually like pushes you a little bit. But this is so hard to explain in a way. Like it's so simple that it's hard to explain what it feels like. So I'm sitting there and I feel this slight sway, and in my head pops in water. So now it feels like a push and a pull of water in a very kind of like flowing way. And of course, I know a lot about crystals, but I don't remember every single thing about every single crystal. So after I had that experience, I was ready to look up the properties of ocean jasper and kind of like see what it was that I was feeling. So I found out that ocean jasper is mined from the earth, but it's mined from a place where water is always washing by it, and they actually have to wait until low tide to go in and mine ocean jasper. So when I read that, it made complete sense to me that I first felt grounded and then I felt the energy of water. So that's one way that you can feel energy in crystals. And I wasn't necessarily picking up on like the metaphysical properties of what it was doing to my body in this instance. but I was picking up on where this came from and what energy it was surrounded by as it was growing and being made and in the earth. And ocean jasper is a very lovely feeling stone. That is how you feel when you pick up a piece of ocean jasper. That's how I feel. I feel slightly grounded and then like calming and peaceful and almost like dreamy almost. Now there are crystals that when I pick them up, I feel them in my body. I don't feel, so this is a piece of blue kyanite. This is just called a blade. It's very thin. Blue kyanite is a lot about third eye stuff and all this psychic turn everything on. So sometimes when I hold a crystal like this, I can feel it in my body, like in a chakra. So I'm getting a slight feeling right in my third eye area, which makes a lot of sense. Blue kyanite is great for the third eye. And I'm feeling like a slight energy, like a slight touch. Like a slight touch. It's just very, very soft. And it's going in like a circle around my third eye, almost like a vortex. So sometimes that's what I feel when I pick up crystals. I can feel it in a place in my body. And that's actually a really fun thing that you can do if you have a variety of crystals in front of you, especially if they're tumbled stones and they're all kind of the same size and shape so you can't know what they are. Just closing your eyes and kind of like picking up a crystal and seeing if you can feel it in a certain place in your body, and then looking at the crystal and seeing if it matches up what you were feeling. That's a really cool exercise to do sometimes. I had a pretty cool experience with black tourmaline the other day. I was thinking about making this video, so I was picking up a few things, trying to figure out what I was going to have. And when I picked up the black tourmaline, again, just like the ocean jasper, I kind of cleared everything out, sat for a few minutes in the quiet and see, like, just to find out what comes in afterwards. With the black tourmaline, it's also a grounding stone. It's very protective. And what I felt the other day when I got really deep into nothing and then let this energy come in, I felt like I was in the earth. I felt like I was standing, because I was standing straight up when I did this. I was standing right over there. That's kind of where I keep a lot of my crystals. So I'm standing over there and I'm just picking things up and seeing what happens. And I'm standing and all of a sudden I feel like I do feel very protected. I feel very grounded. I felt very dense. There was so much density around me. And then I realized I felt like there was earth packed all around me. And again, not in a claustrophobic way, not in like a panic I can't get out way, but in a very like secure way, like whatever hit me couldn't even do anything to me because I'm in this like protective earth energy. I didn't know I was going to have so much trouble explaining this. I feel like this is going to have to be an ongoing discussion that we have because I do feel so many things and I do want to tell other people what I'm feeling because this is what I have found. Other people that have certain gifts will come up to me and they let me know this is what it feels like, this is what it looks like when I'm using this gift. Like an extra sensory, sixth sense, whatever that is. And they tell me about it, and then it's like my brain does this turn, like, that has happened to me my whole life. And I just thought it was normal, and I thought everyone was feeling it. So until someone else tells me this is how I feel my psychic power, and then I realize I've always felt that too. I can feel things that I didn't know I could feel. So I have started telling other people how I feel things. And then I see them have that moment where they do this little thing, and it's like you can see their head exploding because all of a sudden, so many things in their life make sense. Like you have to be quiet for a minute and actually let them go through all these things because it's like all of these things make sense now because of this one piece of information. So that's why I feel like it's so important to share things like this so that other people can realize that they can do really cool stuff too. They've always been able to, they just didn't know that's what it looked like. Anyways, back to the crystals. There are crystals that are a little bit stronger and they will often do physical things to people's bodies. And I'm going to bring up moldavite again. Moldavite is one that a lot of people get almost an instant physical response. And a lot of times it is like a wave of heat. Your heart rate starts going a little bit faster. You feel like you need to take bigger breaths. Sometimes I feel it like right in my heart chakra, and what that feels like is kind of I'm just aware that there's more energy there, and it feels like this, like a slow loosening. And so it's very kind of like soothing and relieving. It's relieving and soothing, and it just like kind of like opens like that, and it feels so nice. Moldavite is definitely something that I would experiment with if I was you trying to feel crystal energy. Moldavite's my favorite. I'm always going to push it on everyone because I feel like it's so important and it's so amazing and it's changed my life so much. Another way that you can feel crystal energy is through emotions. A lot of crystals are very emotionally supportive, and I feel like that's probably the thing that people use them for the most at first, more than like the magical qualities, more like the healing qualities. The emotional qualities is what makes these so immediately addictive and wonderful in your life, because you can feel yourself feeling better. You feel, it's obvious that they make you feel better. A crystal that I had a really nice, strong emotional response to is this celestial tabby. Now, a tabby is a crystal that grows kind of flattened. If you can see, this is like a regular crystal on this side, and then it's like flat over on this side. And there's all kinds of druzy on top of there. It's so pretty. So this is an celestial tabby. It's very high quality, and I wanted to find out what this does for people emotionally because I couldn't find a lot of information out there about them. So again, I cleared my energy out and I sat with it. And this is one that immediately works on my emotions, although I'm physically feeling it right now, like in my heart. It's another like soothing, beautiful, beautiful presence. But to me, when I hold these celestial tabbies, I immediately feel uplifted. It's like I'm living down here, my emotions are whatever it is that day. I'm just going throughout the day, and I pick something like this up and I immediately feel uplifted. And now I feel like I'm up here. So it's not like anything was wrong before. It's just like everything feels just a little bit better up here. It's uplifting and soothing and very positive. I remember I was like scribbling stuff down when I was sitting with it because I wanted to remember everything that I felt. And I remember writing down, it's like that super positive friend that never shuts up, but this one doesn't get annoying. Like, it's a forever optimistic friend that will always just make you feel better. And so I felt this one really emotionally. This is Lemurian that I thought would be good to have in this video today because I feel like Lemurians are just so powerful. And to me, yes, the Moldavite gives me a physical response, but Lemurians, they give me a different kind of feeling. And when I feel Lemurians, what I feel is power. I feel power. And to me, this is what that feels like. It begins by like a little bit of like tingling all over my body. Sometimes it pops up in different places. Right now, it's like kind of like on my back, and that's where I get a lot of that like tingling feeling. And it's even like on the backs of my arms. So I get a little tingle, and then I start feeling like my heartbeat is kind of escalating a little bit, and I'm wanting to take deeper breaths, and kind of like it's just kind of like speeding everything up. It's speeding up my thought process. I feel like it's even speeding up my talking a little bit. And these are the symptoms of like a high vibrational crystal. And I love the high vibrational crystals. I love that feeling of like they almost make you feel high. Like you could feel a little bit high on crystals, and it's just they make you feel like good and happy, and like you can do anything, and you have all of this like energy and power behind you. I actually did an entire video on my favorite high vibrational crystal, so I'll link that down below for you guys. Make sure you check that out. So that is how I feel this crystal. So we've gone over all of these different ways to feel crystals. You can feel them in different parts of your body. You can feel sensations in your body, like being grounded. You can sometimes tap into like the elements that the crystal is in. You can feel them emotionally, you can feel them physically. Even if you feel like you still can't do any of this stuff, sometimes it's as simple as I work with crystals a lot, and people will ask me, what's a good crystal for this? And instead of just being like, here, this is the crystal you need, I will hand them 2 different crystals, and I will have them put one in each hand. Sometimes I will have them do one at a time, and sometimes I'll put them both in their hands, just depending. And sometimes it's as simple as your hand closes really tightly around a crystal and you don't want to put it down. That's a way you can feel crystal energy, and that's a way you can tell like what you need. That's a way that you can tell your body, your emotions, whatever wants this kind of support. Your body doesn't want to let it go. This happens to people, not in a weird physical sense like, oh, I can't open my hand, but just in a way of like, oh, I want this. This is for me. I don't want to put it down. I'm so happy I found you. Thank you so much, etc. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Don't like judge yourself. Don't think that there's something wrong with you. I think a lot of times the more that you work with crystals, the more you start feeling them. It could just be that you've always felt them, and the more you work with them, the more you realize the subtle differences between them, and then you realize you have been feeling them. Maybe it takes a video like this that kind of makes you think about it in a different way, and you realize that you do feel them, and now you have this information and you can feel even more. I'm hoping that's the case. I really hope that this helps some of you realize that you've been feeling this stuff all along, and you can do this, and it's so exciting and it's so much fun. Like, it's actually so much fun to play with stuff like this and to like figure out different parts of it and how it makes you feel and what you need. I mean, after you start tapping into these energies and being able to kind of like read them and read yourself with them, I feel like you can do so much productive work on yourself and on your environment. I really hope that this helped somebody, and please share it with your friends. If your friends are into crystals, trying to learn about crystals, I think it's so important to share our knowledge and help each other figure this all out, because it's all so cool and it all just makes us better. Gosh, I'm just holding this crystal and it's so beautiful. Do you see that little rainbow in there? Crystals are so cool, guys. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.